iPRSM. From design to audit to proactive management of change, iPRSM brings unprecedented accessibility, accuracy, and efficiency to pressure relief systems management. Welcome to Moving Equipment in iPRSM. This demonstration will guide you through the steps involved in moving and replacing a piece of equipment, and in managing equipment documents and maintenance records associated with the equipment on the move. We will create a demonstration plant, move a valve from the alcohol unit to the service shop, replacing it with a valve from the warehouse. Service the first valve, adding a maintenance record, and then move both valves back to their original locations while moving, copying, and generating all relevant documents and records. This may at first seem like a complex process, but iPRSM will handle the heavy lifting. We'll quickly add a new plant, call it Move Equipment, and apply the simple demonstration plant template. We navigate into the plant and into its alcohol unit. We browse the unit's equipment and go to the equipment view for the valve 250PRV1, which we are going to swap out and service. Note that 250PRV1 is not only a valve, but also a valve location in a protected system, out of which a physical valve will be moved while a replacement temporarily takes its place. In the equipment view for 250PRV1, from the Other Functions drop-down, we select Move Equipment to access the Move Equipment view. But first look again at our three units, with our two valves and their associated documents and records. And here is the operation we are about to instruct iPRSM to perform. Back in the Move Equipment view, we designate a location to move the equipment to. In the Move To panel, we select our Move Equipment plant, and we select the unit Service Shop. From the To ID drop-down, we select Equipment Reference. This means that the valve's equipment reference number, SNO3141, will be used to track it in transit and will serve as its equipment ID in its new location. If the service shop unit had bins with numbers, then a bin number could be used as the temporary equipment ID. Second, we locate the replacement equipment. In the Replace By panel, again we select our Move Equipment plant. We select the unit Warehouse. And from the Equipment ID drop-down, we select Stock 2718. This is our replacement valve. We pick the Delete Source checkbox to remove the equipment location from the warehouse unit after moving the physical equipment. Note that if the equipment ID in the Replace By panel referred to a bin in a warehouse, then we would not delete the source, because that would mean deleting the bin. Let's pick Check Plan to see if iPRSM has any problems with the plan that we've entered. Critical alerts indicate trouble with the documents and records relating to the valve we want to move. In particular, there is a problem with the system sizing datasheet for 250PRV1. Tables for arranging for the disposition of related documents and records are located at the bottom of the Move Equipment view. The problem document, the system sizing datasheet for our first valve, pertains to the system, not to the physical valve, so we must pick the Stay checkbox, so that the document remains attached to the location in the system. The valve also has a vendor dimensional drawing which, as a plant standard drawing, is already designated to move whenever its associated equipment moves. No action is required. And there is a maintenance record for the valve's original installation. It is marked a copy, meaning that one version of the record will remain with the location, while another travels with the valve. The replacement valve also has two documents. A relief valve datasheet, which pertains to the physical valve. We leave the Move checkbox picked, so that the document moves when the equipment moves. And a vendor dimensional drawing, which, as a plant standard drawing, is already set to move when its physical equipment moves. Now we can check our plan again and see if iPRSM has any problems with it this time. As there are no longer any critical messages, we can pick the Move Equipment link and pick OK to confirm and execute the plan. Once the move operation is complete, we are automatically taken back to the equipment view for 250PRV1, the location from which the Move Equipment operation was initiated. Note that this location is now occupied by the replacement valve. The following changes have also occurred. The service shop now contains our original valve, while the warehouse unit no longer contains any equipment, as when the replacement valve was moved out, its location was deleted. Now that the first valve has been moved into the service shop unit, we can service it. We navigate to the unit and browse its equipment. Locate our valve and pick the maintenance link. Looking at our flowchart again, we see the step we are about to perform, adding the service maintenance record, highlighted in red. Here in the maintenance browser, we see that a copy of the installation record has traveled with the valve, and that iPRSM has also recorded the movement of the valve, and added the maintenance record hardware moved. We pick the Add to History link, then pick OK to add an additional record for servicing. We enter a title for the record and select the record type Service. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll skip entering the maintenance details and just note that the valve has passed its testing. We pick the Move checkbox to ensure that the record will move whenever the valve is moved, and pick Done. Back in the Equipment Maintenance browser, we see that the maintenance record now contains a record for the scheduled service. Now that the valve has been serviced, we can execute another Move Equipment process, moving the replacement valve back to the warehouse unit and the tested valve back to the alcohol unit. We go to the original equipment location in the alcohol unit, currently occupied by the replacement valve. We select Move Equipment once more. Here again are our 3 units, and the 2 valves with their associated documents and records. And here is the operation we are about to ask iPRSM to perform. Back in the Move Equipment view, in the Move To panel, we give iPRSM the plant and the unit location to move the replacement valve back to in the warehouse. And we tell it to use the equipment reference number as its equipment ID. In the Replace By panel, we tell iPRSM where to find the original valve, freshly serviced in the service shop unit. We pick Delete Source to remove the equipment location from the service shop unit after moving the physical valve. And again, we must review the disposition of documents and records, although in our current example they are all marked or set by default correctly to move or to stay. Note the 3 maintenance records attached to the tested valve in the service shop. Note also that records have been added to the equipment location in the alcohol unit, one for the valve moved out and another for the replacement valve moved in. Again, we ask iPRSM to check for any problems with this Move Equipment plan. As there are no critical alerts, we can pick the Move Equipment link and execute the plan. When the operation is complete, iPRSM automatically takes us back to the equipment view for 250 PRV1. Note that the location Equipment ID 250 PRV1 is once again occupied by the original valve. The following changes have also taken place. The old replacement valve is back in the warehouse unit, and the service shop unit contains no equipment. Picking the maintenance link, we see that in the Equipment Maintenance browser for 250 PRV1, 4 new records have been added. There is a record for the test procedure, and a record for each movement of a valve into or out of the equipment location. The movement of our first valve to the service shop unit is documented twice. This is because one copy of the record of that movement remained attached to the location, while another copy traveled there and back with the physical equipment. And now we're done. We have successfully moved, substituted, tested, and returned a pressure relief valve while managing all related documents and maintenance records. From design to audit to proactive management of change, iPRSM brings unprecedented accessibility, accuracy, and efficiency to pressure relief systems management. Brought to you by Curtiss-Wright Flow Control and Ferris Engineering.